I got a one-line email in 2012 from my literary agent saying, "Would you like to write a book about Joseph Smith?" And I've mentioned this cynically. I'm not even sure if my agent knew who Joseph Smith was. I'm not even sure, everybody watching this. Anyway, Joseph Smith was the founding prophet of the Mormon Church. I knew something about Joseph Smith. The short answer was yes. I was very interested in writing a book about Joseph Smith. I ended up spending about 2 years researching the subject of his assassination, about which a book had never been written. My agent had had lunch, kind of typically, with a youngish editor, and this editor said, you know what would be a great book? Would be how the guy who created the Mormon religion was gunned down in cold blood in 1844. So the idea was to write a kind of, the category is sort of popular nonfiction, popular history, and we did that. It took about 3 years to do the book total, from beginning to end, and it was an unusual and fun experience. I started that project from absolute zero, with the exception of knowing who Joseph Smith was, which was a certain advantage. But it was clear Smith was killed in Illinois. The Mormon religion, of course, is in Utah, and they have a huge kind of an archive. You're tempted to say it's a closed archive, but it's not. But the Mormons keep a very firm grip on their own history. They're not very interested in non-Mormons writing about their history. I am a non-Mormon. But on the other hand, they also don't want to be perceived as kind of too domineering or too fascistic. So to further complicate this entire story, there are 2 Mormon churches in America. People don't really know that. There's a breakaway church in Illinois, which received me very warmly, and they have their own archives, and I went to visit them. And then there's, of course, the church that is famous to all of us, the Church of Mitt Romney, based in Salt Lake City. They have a kind of an astonishing high-tech archive. A lot of it's on the internet. And so I made 2 trips to Salt Lake City, also sort of de rigueur, to go through their official archives having to do with the killing of Joseph Smith. I have to say, even though you didn't ask, Mormon history is an unbelievably untapped field. The greatest works of Mormon history have all been written by amateurs. One could even argue and I don't want to offend anyone, the 2 greatest works of Mormon history were written by housewives. I mean, Fawn Brodie's biography of Joseph Smith, written when she was 32 years old, is just the best book ever written in Mormon history, period. So when you go in to write a book or do a major research project, it's incredibly exciting because materials are everywhere. Mormon historians are still discovering materials in people's attics. Mormons are huge record keepers, but a lot of Mormons don't even trust the church to keep records accurately. So it's a field I encourage ambitious young historians to get involved in. I loved it. In fact, I loved it so much I wanted to write a second work of Mormon history, although whether I get to do so is very much up in the air.